If you ever think parks are safe at night, you haven't stayed long enough for the lights to turn off. Because the moment this place goes dark, it stops being a park. The paths go silent, the swings start moving on their own, and something in the trees wakes up. Something that watches every step you take. Tonight, I found out why people say no one gets locked inside this park by accident. Because something here is waiting for you. You should have known something was off the second the lights went out. Public parks don't go completely dark. There's always some leftover glow, street lamps, passing headlights, distant houses. But tonight, the entire place dropped into a dead black the moment the guard locked the main gate. And you were still inside. Your fault. You stayed too long on the far end near the old swings, scrolling your phone and ignoring the time. Now the only exit was a metal gate with chains that didn't care about your panic. You tried shouting. Nothing. The silence wasn't normal either. Parks at night still have insects, dogs barking somewhere, cars humming far away. But here, not even wind. Like the whole place was holding its breath. You started walking along the jogging path using your phone flashlight, thin, weak, barely pushing the dark back. Every few steps, the beam hit the playground ahead. The swings were moving, slow, steady, like someone had just gotten off them. But there was no one. And then you noticed the footprints in the sand. Not the shape, those were weird enough, but the freshness. Deep, crisp edges. Someone had been sitting there minutes ago, maybe seconds. You backed away. That's when you heard it. The soft, metallic squeak of the swing chains, coming from behind you, not the playground. You turned your light. There was a second set of swings you'd forgotten about right next to the trees. One of them was moving, hard, like an invisible weight was pumping it higher and higher. Your flashlight flickered. Something stepped out from the trees, not walking, leaning, like its body didn't know how to move correctly. You couldn't see its face, just the shape. But the moment it lifted its head toward you, every instinct you had screamed the same thing. Run. Now. Your shoes hit the path. Heavy breath. Weak light. Those broken footsteps behind you getting faster, too fast for any normal person. And then the park lights, every single one, flashed on for half a second. That half second was enough to see it clearly. And you wish you hadn't. You didn't stop running until your lungs felt like they were tearing open. The park path split ahead, left toward the lake, right toward the maintenance shed. You chose the shed. Not because it was smart, but because it had a door, a lock, and right now you needed anything between you and whatever was behind you. The footsteps stopped the moment you turned the corner. That was worse than hearing them. You killed your flashlight to avoid giving away your position. The darkness swallowed you instantly, thick enough to hide in but suffocating to stand in. For a few seconds, everything was dead silent. Then you heard it. Not footsteps, breathing. Slow. Controlled. Too close. It wasn't searching. It already knew where you were. You pressed yourself against the metal wall of the shed, trying not to move. The breathing shifted, rising slightly, like it was sniffing the air. Your phone vibrated. A notification. The sound cut through the silence like a scream. The breathing stopped. You didn't think. You sprinted for the shed door, yanked the handle, shoved yourself inside, slammed it shut, and dropped the bar lock down. The tiny room reeked of chemicals and wet dirt, but at least it was closed. Something hit the door. Not a punch. A push, slow and deliberate, making the metal bend inward like someone was leaning their entire weight against it. You backed away until your heels hit bags of fertilizer. The door bulged again. Whatever was out there wasn't trying to break in. It was testing the door. Testing you. Like it wanted to know how scared you were. Then the metal handle began to turn. Smooth. Controlled. It shouldn't turn at all. The door was locked from the inside. But it kept twisting. You pressed your hand over your mouth. If you made even one sound, you were done. The handle stopped. Silence again. Then, from the tiny square window near the ceiling, you saw it. A tall, dark outline standing perfectly still. Too tall for a normal person. Shoulders touching the frame. Head tilted slightly, like it was studying you through the glass. You didn't dare move. And then it did something worse than trying to break in. It stepped back. Slowly. Not leaving, waiting. It wanted you to come out. And the terrifying part? You could hear footsteps from the other side of the shed now. More than one. Something else was in the park with you. The new footsteps weren't heavy. They were careful, too careful. Like someone trying not to be heard, but failing just enough to let you know they were there. You stayed frozen in the shed, eyes fixed on that tiny window. The tall shape had stepped back into the dark, completely out of view, but you could still feel it waiting. The second set of footsteps circled the shed once. Then again, slower the second time, like they were mapping the place, memorizing every corner. Your brain tried to rationalize. Maybe security guards? Maybe someone else stuck like you? No, security guards don't move like that. And a trapped person would yell, panic, or at least exist like a normal human being. This thing outside walked like it knew the park better than you ever would. Then something shifted in the dark. A scraping sound near the floor. You didn't see it at first, but when you crouched down, you noticed it. A shadow blocking the thin slit under the door. Someone was lying on the ground, looking under, watching you. You kicked the fertilizer bags out of instinct and scrambled back. The shadow didn't flinch, didn't jerk, didn't react. It just stayed there, face pressed to the gap, breathing slow and steady. You couldn't see eyes, just a shape. But the intention was obvious. It wanted to know exactly where you moved. The breathing stopped. Then the shadow slid away silently, not standing, dragging like it pulled itself along the ground. You held your breath. Every instinct begged you to bolt, to run, to escape. But the shed door was the only exit and they were right outside it. You checked your phone. 3% battery. 1 bar of service. You tried calling emergency services anyway. The call failed. You tried again. Failed. And then your phone vibrated. A message. Unknown number. Stop moving. You froze. Another message came instantly. They see movement first. Sound second. Your stomach dropped. Someone was watching. Or someone had been here before you. You typed back with shaking fingers. Who are you? Delivered. Read instantly. No reply. Instead, you heard rustling above you. The ceiling. Aluminum sheets. Thin. Cheap. Not built to hold weight. Dust fell from the seams. Something was crawling on the roof. Slow. Deliberate. The exact same way the thing circled the shed. Then the sheets above you bent inward. A hand, long, pale, wrong, pushed down between 2 panels. Not clawing, not smashing, just feeling, searching for an opening. They weren't trying to break in. They were trying to learn how. And you realized something brutal. Getting inside this shed never mattered to them. They wanted you to stay in here long enough for the park to get quiet again. Long enough for whatever was hunting to close in from all sides.